Hello curious wanderers, welcome to my video. Now today I'm doing something a little different, well, a lot different I guess. I've started learning how to use Photoshop. You'll have to forgive my absolute noobness to this. This is completely new to me. I dabbled a little bit in Photoshop in the past, but not anywhere near really knowing what I'm doing. One of my friends gave me a few tips to help me along, thank goodness, those are hard. And yeah, so this is a drawing that I've done in Photoshop. What I find interesting about recording like this in Photoshop is that you get to actually see my drawing process, and I don't usually show the drawing process because I do not have the skills to record that, because like a pencil drawing is kind of hard to catch on camera, or at least for me. But in Photoshop you can see it very clearly, so I think it's fun to, it's even fun for me, to be honest, to kind of watch myself go, because it's not like I don't know, it's not like I'm really conscious of what I'm doing per se. I'm just kind of working, you know what I mean? And then when you watch a recording like this, I personally get to see the process that I went through, you know, and it kind of makes me feel better about spending like over 8 hours on a drawing. But yeah, so I'm very slow in Photoshop, and I'm trying to get used to it. I do find it very fun to draw in Photoshop. It's very different. I like that when you erase, the paper doesn't come undone, you know, so that's probably my favorite part of Photoshop, to be honest, just being able to erase, and when you erase, it erases perfectly. I also really like that you can like draw something and then move it around or warp it, and I know this is no revelation to anybody. Everyone knows these are the benefits of Photoshop, but humor me, these are the things that really excite me. But yeah, so going back on my drawing style, the whatever it is I do to accomplish drawings here, I don't know if I have a specific style per se. I just kind of draw and hope for the best. Yeah, so you might have seen right at the beginning, I have this little doll. It's like a little posable doll. Mine's a male doll, and I'm mostly drawing women, so the proportions are pretty off. But what I like about having a little plastic doll like that, it's not really necessary or anything, but I like that you can play around with poses, but like even if you've chosen the pose that you want, I like that you can kind of turn it around and choose a better, like, I suppose, camera angle. Like if your drawing was a picture taken by somebody, you know, like if it were like a real picture instead of like an artwork, like what would be like the best angle? And I like that you can do that with like a little three-dimensional doll, even if the doll doesn't really look at all like the character, you know what I mean? It still gives you like that composition sense, right? Like, oh, like it works better if you're slightly tilted upwards or things like that. So I really like to use it as a base to decide what pose I'm doing. So here you're gonna notice that poof, magical wings and horns and tail just appeared out of thin air. That is mostly due to my magical ability of hexing technology. One of the reasons why I think I've been a little bit more hesitant to try Photoshop is because I have bad luck with technology in general. If there's a way to break it, I will find it. I will. So I was recording, like there's like about an hour's worth of footage where that I lost because I was recording. I hit record, I draw for an hour, and then I'm like, okay, I'll hit stop record because I'm gonna go do something else. And when I hit stop record, it's like stopping recording, and it just stayed there for hours. I gave it hours of time, hoping that it would sort itself out, and it did not. And there was nothing I could do about it. So I had to like close it and open it again because it was completely frozen. So, and then when I did that, it did not like remember the footage that I had. So that's why there's like a big skip and a hop there, but the show must go on and such. So yeah, here, so as you've probably noticed there, I like to draw the character first, like the body, I should specify. I like to draw the body first. I know some people jump right in and they draw like with the clothes in consideration. Like they'll draw the clothes right away. But I don't like doing that. Like, I don't think I ever do that, actually. Think about it. Because I like to draw the body the way that I want it first, and then I feel like it makes it a heck of a lot easier to draw the clothes on top of it, because then you can really drape the clothes around the body and make the clothes a lot more well, not just like, but a lot more three-dimensional, but also feel more droopy, you know, more cloth-like, because you know exactly where the body is underneath the clothes. You're not kind of guessing around the clothes. And because of that, the clothes will drape easier and more accurately, a little more believably, I suppose. Yeah, not that I'm an expert in drawing clothes. I feel like I'm getting better over time with practice, though. Yeah, so I sketched out her outfit, and now I'm coloring it. I never I have a hard time being satisfied with anything ever. But I think that's common. I think most artists feel that way. You tend to want to rework something to death, and eventually you have to kind of be like, okay, stop it. But yeah, so maybe I can talk about the character a little bit. This is one of my characters. Her name is Sookie, and she's actually a succubus. And she's basically, like, long story short, she's from another world, but she lives here. And I just wanted to draw her in her succubus form. So, because I've drawn her a few times in the past, but I wanted to draw her, like, full-fledged, like, being her little cutie that she is. And I do want to create a story one of these days. Well, actually, like, to be honest, it's like a project that I have in my mind that I'm working on. I just like, I don't want anyone to be like, so when is that coming out? I'll be like, but it's like a little story that I like to work on, that I might turn into a comic or something someday. But yeah, so something that I like to do with fantasy characters, like, this is clearly a little more than human, right? Like, I like to think of how the fantasy elements of the character can blend a little better with them. So that's why I do certain things, like here, her wing, like the skin, I suppose, of the outside of her wing is the same as her skin tone, which might make it look a little fleshy, I suppose. But I like to do things like that because it makes it feel, to me at least, like it's all part of the same body, right? If you actually had, like, I mean, it's not feathered wings, right? It's like more bat-like wings. Like, if you had these type of wings, to me, logically, they'd be very likely to mimic your skin tone, or at least the root of the wings would, and it might fade off to another color, let's say, which can also be a fun way to do it. But yeah, I always think it gives a bit of an interesting look, kind of like, it's the same like if you're doing like any anthropomorphic like creature, when you can't, like, sometimes I do the reverse, you know, I'll take whatever style animal it is, like if I'm mixing it with a person, and then I'll add that color scheme to the person's skin so that they blend together. So I seem to be getting close to the end here. You can see my my shading, and after the shading is pretty much done. So just want to thank you for watching. I'm just gonna let you watch the end of this, but if you want to check me out on any of my social media or any of my links, everything's in the description, so you don't have to go hunting. You can just click from there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.